Welcome, the North. Going into week 2. Week 1 was a wraps. We're excited to get into it. Podcast, we getting lots of love from it. Happy to hear it. We're excited to get into it. Pete, you excited for this week?
So excited.
I saw we got a couple comments already on our, we might have been a little off on our backcourt defensive matchups. I got the clown emoji from Thomas, so, all good. Sometimes you got to take shots as a podcaster and throw your thoughts out there. Sometimes you make them. Sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you're Perkins, and sometimes you're not. We can't all be the best.
It's 1 week. It's 1 week. We can still be proven right.
We can still be proven right. I will say they led the league, both of them, in steals last year. So we'll see. We're going to hold on. We'll check it out in week 8 and see where we're at. We're going to start with the matchups. Of course, that's the bread and butter of our league. That's what people are here for. Pete, why don't you bring me into game 1?
Yeah, Monday, June 2nd, 6:15. We've got Team Danny versus Team Thomas. Danny 0-1. They're -17. Caught a tough loss last week, but they did score 105 points in a loss, and I think that they could turn things around. And Team Thomas, it was a dominant win. They're 1-0, plus 21, second in the standings.
Yeah. Now, how did you break down the standings to get our plus minus? You just slap it into like a website somewhere, or how'd you pull it plus minus?
It was just the napkin math. So
Fair enough.
But,
fair enough.
I stand by my napkin math.
The napkin math holds strong. Don't question it. My thoughts going into that game, Team Thomas had the biggest showing. I think they had the most fans out. They also had the loudest bench throughout the week. It was a fun game. Team Danny's coming off a tough loss, but again, that versatility of Tyrese, Lance, and Quinn, those are some long, lanky arms. The defense looked a little bit off, but I think if they can figure out how to get that blending and a movement of those three, and Danny really being the floor general, Team Thomas is very strong. I would give them the favorable win here, but I think if those three can figure it out and Danny can be that floor general, we have something nice to look at there. I wanted to give a shout out to Judy. I had a chance to meet her. I think she's the North's #1 fan. It was a pleasure meeting her. I know she's, from what I've heard, she kind of tries to make every single game to support her grandkids and their friends. And I think we have the North's biggest fan there. So I wanted to give her a shout out.
Shout out to Judy.
So game 2, we got Team Glenn 0-1, Team Adam 1-0. Team Glenn sitting 7th in standings. Team Adam's 5th in standings. Glenn's coming off a tough loss. I will say that was one that I'm sure they would never love to see that 3-point percentage again. They shot 4 of 29 from the 3-point line with 14%. Not ideal. But having played with Glenn and Jeff last year, that's their plan. They love to run and gun, and when they're hitting, there's really not much teams can do. I mean, we saw Glenn lead the league in 3-point percentage last year because the guys just heats up like nobody's business, and it really doesn't matter what defender you put on him. There's not much space he needs to get a shot off, and if you do overpress it, he can't drive quickly to the rack.
I think with Glenn too, the confidence is a big thing. So if he hits 1 or 2 right out the gate, then he's feeling it. And, you can't really stop him when that's the case. They're going to get those shots up. And I highly doubt we're going to see a 14% showing again. First week jitters, it happens. First time with the team together, it's not going to be 14% again.
No, I don't think so. And also, too, I had made a note there. They've also added in a big man, which we didn't have last year. I was playing the starting 5, which if you have me at your starting 5, you're already in a trouble. Look, I believe in myself and my skills, but I played the 2 in high school, and even the 4 is a stretch for me. So we struggled last year, but Mateus had a great game. I think if they can figure out how to get him going as a pick and roll, get the big man popping and kicking out to the 3-point line, it could be very, very good. What's your thoughts on Team Adam, though?
I mean, I think that Team Adam is going to be close here. They've got a lot of talent, of course. Kenny, Logan, even
Tyler, Adam.
Tyler, 100% Adam.
A good bench.
A bunch of guys that can score the ball. It's just about meshing, and that's what we're talking about with all these teams. Whoever can figure out the chemistry the quickest is probably going to go on a nice little run here to start the season. And that's what we saw with Team Thomas, right? We just mentioned that their chemistry was off the charts in game 1. They looked really good. So if another team can kind of pick that up here, I think that they'd be looking pretty good.
Yeah, and they crashed their boards crazy. I think they might have had the most O boards. I can't confirm that, but they had 19, which is, when you look at that roster, you're not like, oh, those guys are just crashing the boards. But I think just from sheer athleticism and guys that like to just hustle after it, they had played a trap on us too that got them back in the fourth quarter, which lets them win the game. They got a lot of bodies they can rotate in and out, a lot of offensive options. I think I'm going to go with Team Glenn on this one, not by much, but just from the sheer fact that if Mateus can get it going, I don't think they have many defensive options to shut down a big. But again, it's a small edge. I think it's going to be a great game.
I'm going to go the other way. I think Adam gets the win.
Okay. All right. I like it. Game 3. What you got there for us, Pete?
It's Team Austin versus Team Caleb, and this is most definitely the matchup of the week after what we saw last week. Austin had a blowout win over Team Alex. Caleb had a blowout win as well, so they're both 1-0. Austin plus 27 and Caleb plus 17. And Sunshine, as they are affectionately known, 122 points in one game, which is bonkers, potentially the most in North history, you mentioned as well. So that's a ton of points on the board. I like Team Caleb in this game just because of the pace that they play with, the chemistry they have. But I would not be putting money on this game. I don't have a real good feel either way. So I wouldn't expect this one to be a blowout either way.
No, I agree. I think it's an interesting lineup. Obviously, Team Caleb, 122 points shows that they have a lot of offensive weapons. And, like I said, most points, I think, in North history. It was crazy. They just couldn't miss. And Sunshine, it isn't as bright without Logan, but I'd say their forecast is still clear and sunny with the additions of Brad and River. And we saw that in game 1. Now, Team Austin, of course, I think they have the most natural 5-man lineup in the North this year. I would say like number 1, you got Marcus, who I had not seen play, but after seeing him play, definitely can be that point guard for them. I believe at the shooting guard, they had Seb, who's a fantastic defender, willing to pick guys up full court and just make your life misery. Cole as a small forward, is kind of the perfect small forward, likes to attack and shoot. You have Austin at the 4, who brings in some solid defense. And then, of course, Lonnie at the 5, who was player of the game for them. Fantastic. It doesn't mean just having the best 5 or the best main 5 means you win games, but I definitely think it helps.
Yeah, no, I think with Team Caleb too, just having guys that coming off the bench, even Caleb is the guy on the team, but Caden Ryan had 13 points in the first half on Thursday night. So he can really shine at times. Liam can really shine at times. There's plenty of talent to go around.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't really have an option of who I would select in this game. I'm just excited to be there to watch it. Those will be our games for Monday. Let's pull this back up here so you guys can see it on the pod. We are going into June 5th, which should pop up here in 2 seconds. So this is our 2 games on Thursday. Game 4, which is Team Luke. We're 6th in standings, -7. Team Garen, 9th in standings with a -21. Now, I don't want to be the biased guy talking about myself and hyping myself up off the rip. So, Pete, I'll let you kind of take this one too.
Hey, it's early in the season. Don't feel too bad about 6th and 9th in the standings. Really, you're 0-1. You're second effectively in the standings.
Season's
right?
over.
So everybody, there's teams that are 1-0. There's teams that are 0-1. It can totally change around this week and then in the following week. So I wouldn't feel too bad about it. You guys had a pretty close game with no Cardi last week. A bunch of guys who are all new to the North. And tell me how you felt about your team last week.
Knowing we had no Cardi, I was not expecting us to be winning the game. We're actually leading the game pretty much until the 4th quarter. We had the lead. I don't think we had many lead changes. I also didn't realize until we started playing, but everybody on my team this is their first season in the North. So that also too, figuring out how the roles work and how the pace is, I was just shocked at how we played. We just played, we played like we had all been playing together for 10, 15 years. The ball was moving. We were getting good looks. Dave was an absolute monster. Jacob put up 26. Marcus led the floor well. Our bench played well, and we did it without Cardi. And man, I just can't wait to see Dave and Cardi. That's going to be fun.
It definitely is. Team Garen as well, we'll shift over to them, but they kind of felt like Team Glenn. The rim kind of was not kind to them.
It was not their friend.
I see you've got here in the doc, they looked like a Houston Rockets playoff game, 27 straight missed threes. Listen, they actually hung around in the second half. It was not
they brought it back. I think
in the end
to 10.
It was definitely, it was low double digits.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the exact number, but it was kind of uncomfortable for a minute. And then, it was over, but I think that they have some real building blocks.
Yeah. I like Team Garen, watching them play. They were really going to be a pace team. They had up 48 threes. I think the league average when I was looking at it, Team Adam had 45 threes up. Team Garen led with the most threes attempted at 48. Even when we think of Team Glenn being like the 3-point team, they only had 34. So if you're throwing up 48 to 58 threes a game and they're landing, like not much most teams are going to do. But when you're missing, I think they had 10% from 3-point line, that's just going to be a tough day for any team.
Yeah, it's just math.
Yeah, I think, I don't know why, but I feel like I'm going to give my team the edge. I think that's going to happen throughout the whole year, unless we really just mess it up and I'm like, trade everybody, we're tanking for picks next year.
So the fifth and final game of the week is Team Alex versus Team Jordan. So Alex took that big loss to Team Austin in week 1. They are 0-1 minus 27. Yeah, it should have been a good matchup last week. It will be a good matchup this week for sure. Team Jordan, fourth in the standings at 1-0. They're +9, and had a really big showing from Will Agier. So maybe you can talk about what Will Agier did last week.
Yeah, Will was crazy. I mean, we kind of saw that when he came in. I think he played 2 games last year, and one of his games he had 25 points and 20 rebounds, and I believe that was without Hunter. He had filled in for him, and he had another game too where it was like 20 points, 15 rebounds. He kind of just does a little bit of everything. You can go into the app, and I watched his highlights. He's got the 3 ball. He can drive. He can pass. He can rebound. He plays good defense. He's just the type of player that's going to be able to do a lot of things. He was the only player, I think our first player with a triple-double for the North for season 2. He was just everywhere, and he's going to be a problem, and that was without Jordan.
Yeah. So I think that Team Jordan's got to be feeling good about where they're at. Like I said last week in the first podcast, they kind of win wherever they go. So they're probably feeling pretty confident about things. And I think that's a big part of why they win is just they feel confident. They're not cocky, but they feel, confident in their abilities, confident in their chemistry. So that's a big piece of that. But Team Alex is going to be hungry. And I know that some of those boys on that team will be, eager to pick up a dub and get in the other side of the column, if you will.
Yeah, last year, if you remember, they said when we switched to the gyms, like new gym, new team, and that's when they started going crazy. I also think this is going to be a slow burner team. I think they got to figure out how it works because they have a lot of guys that like to attack the rim like last year. And then when that happens, you just have to figure out pace and you got to figure out space.
Yep.
And those things just don't happen right away. But in an 8-game regular season, you got to put it together relatively quickly. So I think this is a game I would give to Team Jordan. But I think just because Team Alex is going to get off to the races a little bit later into the season.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you fully. And Team Alex was only 30% from the floor. So we talk about a lot of these teams missing threes. Team Alex was just missing everything. 30% from the floor is not great, especially for a team that likes to get inside. I would expect that to be higher, especially with the bigs, with Harry, Roman inside, cleaning up boards and hitting at a high percentage down low. I think that we'll see that turn around.
We're in for some good games for week 2. All right, our next segment, we're jumping into the X Factor. And basically the segment's just about players who may be coming hot off the bench or players that are in the starting 5 that you wouldn't think are going to be the main guys, but just make a huge difference and do some pretty awesome things on the floor. And I got 2 selections that I'm bringing in this week. Pete's got 1. I'm going to start it off for Team Austin. Mitch Claiborne, incredible game. I know he played either Stu. Okay. Played Stu for a season or 2. I wish I would have got him in the draft. What a steal. He had 19 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and may I bring this up, it was off the bench. Looking at it throughout the whole league, that was the most points from a player off the bench. I mean, you could say Lonnie came off the bench, but I mean, it's just because he was a couple minutes late, so we're not going to count that. Yeah, Mitch, I watched his highlights. Incredible game. No fear from pulling up from the 3-point line if it was there. Got a lot of attacks. Had a really nasty steal and 1 play. I mean, geez, I'd be curious for Team Austin. It's a great problem to have. Do you put him into the starting lineup or do you keep him as your 6th man to come off with a scoring punch? Incredible game. I'm excited to see what he does for game 2. My other selection, and this one I'm happy to make, Andrew Thomas for Team Jordan. 16 points, 10 rebounds, with 6 of those being offensive, which is incredible. I've been playing pickup with Andrew for, 4 or 5 years, and seeing where his game is today from where it was has been incredible to watch. I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, incredibly timid, definitely not nearly as jacked, not a dad. A lot of things to his game that he wanted to work on, and the guy's just been grinding. He's been hustling, and now look at it today. He's an incredible starting center for the league. Yeah, he's undersized at 6'3", but you wouldn't know it. I kind of like, if I was to give it a player archetype, he's like a Jakob Pertl. He just does all the things you want from a center. He can occasionally shoot the 3-ball. He just does everything so well in the paint. And yeah, incredible game. Huge X factor for them.
Yeah, so mine is from Team Garen, and it's Alex Giska. He had 21 points and led the team in scoring. He was in the starting lineup, but you kind of think on a team that's got Garen and Zach, Anthony in the backcourt, those kinds of players. There's not maybe a lot of shots to go around, but Alex took a ton of shots. Garen even mentioned it in my halftime interview with him. And Alex showed up. He had like 3-and-1s. He hit from distance. He did a little bit of everything. Again, on a team that has a ton of guard talent, it's really good to have a guy who can play a little bit bigger than his size, and he can really create for himself in the half court. So when things get kind of clogged up, Team Garen likes to run, but if the other team gets back in their half court defense, Alex can get a shot up and can create for himself. So I think he's going to be really valuable as the season continues. No, and Alex and Garen have played together for a long time. That's another former Black Cat. So there's chemistry there, and there's the Mike King defense, classic FHS coach there. So,
and if you think you're an X Factor, shoot me or Pete a message. Send us your highlight clips from Sports Visio. Be like, Luke, how dare you miss me in the X Factor this week? Our next segment, Player of the Week. We didn't have it last week, well, because, we hadn't played any games. So this week, though, we got some sponsorships. This week, it's going to be hosted by Instant Imprints, who, if you didn't notice, they did our jerseys, and they did an incredible job. I love the North jerseys. They brought my thought pattern to life, and they've turned out incredible. We're going to list off our finalists. And from there, we're going to pick one, and we'll meet up with you later at your game this week and hit you up with what you're getting from our sponsor, which, again, is Instant Imprints. If you need anything, go to them. They're amazing. Tyler will take care of you. Pete, who you got?
Well, I'm just going to say quickly about Instant Imprints, just a big shout out to them. The North reversible from last season, still my favorite reversible to wear when I'm hooping anywhere else. So good stuff. Let's get into your 5 nominees for Player of the Week. Of course, number 1 from Team Jordan, Will Legier with 27 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 2 steals. Again, the first triple-double in North history. Pretty big deal, if I do say so myself. Our next nominee is Lonnie, 14 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal in a winning effort as well. Next up, Tyler, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. Do-it-all game. It came in a losing effort, I think, but still lots of stuffing of the stat sheet, if you will. Mike Sir had 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists, and a ton of those points were in the first quarter. He was absolutely heating it up for Team Thomas early in the game in their dominant win. So he's our 4th nominee. And then Caleb Scholden, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. Also looked really, really good in a dominant win as well. So he's the last nominee. He was doing a little bit of everything on the court. So Luke, drum roll, please.
I'm terrible at drum rolls, so we're just going to add this in the sound effects after. Hopefully there's a drum roll there.
Cool. Yeah. And let us know who is our winner of the inaugural for season 2 Player of the Week for the North.
So that player, first of all, to tell people how they got on this list, Sports Visio, the app, make sure you download it. Send a message to all the team chats. Download it yesterday. Do it quick. It does everything. It does calculate on each game who with best plus minus and also off pi. So your best offensive and defensive attributes minus all your negatives like turnovers, missed shots, all those things. It picks one player who they felt was the best player of the game. Now, there was some guys that said, hey, why wasn't I the player of the game? I'll be honest. Yeah, there's some guys who had some crazy highlights and some crazy plays, but this is statistical analysis by an AI. How dare we even guess that they're wrong?
Yeah. Our AI overlords.
Our AI overlords. So our winner of Player of the Week, Season 2 of the North, was Will Legier. Congrats, Will. We're gonna meet up. We're gonna meet up with you later this week. We're gonna get you a little gift from Instant Imprints. So many good games there, but our first triple double of the North for Season 2. Without him there, that's not a winning game. He did everything they needed to do. Go watch his highlights. He's making passes, as I was talking about earlier. He was stealing the ball. He had great defense. He just was doing everything that team needed to do to win, and that's what earned him Player of the Week.
And highest scoring performance of the week, too. Let's see who's going to be Player of the Week Show us what you've got. Is somebody going to hit 30?
It could
Are we
happen.
going to have another triple double?
Who's going for 100? Who's going for Wilt's number? I am, for
We'll
sure.
get the picture of you with the paper and the 100. We'll set it up. We'll do a whole media tour if you can hit 100.
All right, this is our From Deep question of the week. That kind of rhymes. I like that. From Deep question of the week. Pete, I hit you last week with question 1. Now I need you to hit me with question 2. If you don't know what this is, we're going to ask a random question to each other. Pete and I have no idea what it's going to be about other than it's going to be basketball related. Pete, hit me with what you got. From Deep.
Yeah. And before I put up my question there, let us know your answers to these questions in the comments below.
Oh, yes, please.
So here's my question. It's been generated by the lovely ChatGPT. And I think it actually did a pretty good job. I fed it the questions that we asked last week, and it did a good job of coming up with something. So, and I'm going to tweak it just a little bit here, but you've just been cursed by a basketball genie. So for the rest of your life, every time that you shoot a basketball, you uncontrollably yell out the name of a random NBA player from history. And it can't be Kobe and it can't be Curry. I'm not going to let you have any of these like really easy names. It's got to be someone who's like a one-time all-star, maybe like not an all NBA player, not like a crazy awesome NBA player. Who's the one player that whenever you shoot a basketball or even shoot a paper ball into a trash can, you want to be yelling out their name forever?
I'm shooting that. I'm like, and it's very similar. Scalabrini. The White Mamba. I mean, if you can't say Kobe, you got to take his alternative, which is the White Mamba. Scalabrini.
I think he's the red Mamba. He's the ginger too, right?
Oh yeah, he's a ginger, but his nickname was the White Mamba. I think that's incredibly fitting for my style of basketball because I don't shoot the ball, and when I do, there's a good chance it's not going to go in. So yeah,
you got a Scalabrini look going on too.
Like in the most complimentary.
That's what I'm saying. In the most complimentary way possible. You
a little bit out of shape. Get some rebounds. Hit some threes. I mean, hey, look, that's okay. I can speak to myself. Yeah, Scalabrini. That's what I'm going with. Pete, what were you going to go with?
I was trying to think of an answer to this as well, and it's got to be somebody like super random that like nobody knows kind of thing. Like there's one Chuck Hayes is a guy that kind of lives in my mind in infamy. He's like the 6'6" center.
Oh, Chuck. Yeah, he played for Rockets.
He played for the Raptors, played for the Rockets, played for the Clippers.
I remember Chuck.
And had like a disgusting looking shot. Didn't really shoot even that much. The other one that came right to my head was Darko Milicic for some reason. But it's got to be, If
you're going Chuck Hayes, you got to go with the first name, Chuck. I mean, it's just
Chuck. I'm chucking.
You're just chucking and hope for the best.
Yeah, but that's like, see, that's kind of like faking it, like easy, taking the easy way out. Because like Chuck, it just sounds like you're saying Chuck, like I'm chucking a shot up. Like you're not saying someone's name. No, it has to be. That's what I'm saying. Chuck Hayes,
Louis Scola, Luke Babbitt.
Those are some good names. Patrick Patterson, that's another guy.
Booby Gibson. I mean, we could go back. Harrison Vergeau.
Wow, Randy Foy.
Randy Foy. Oh man, now you're making me think of a whole bunch. Rodney Stuckey.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
we got lots of names we could pull from. That's for sure.
Mitch McGary. That's as a Thunder fan.
All right, Pete.
I'm ready for your question.
From deep, from downtown, coming from Woodstock, shooting that three.
Woodstock's not that far.
Not far enough? Okay, though. That's my New Brunswick knowledge.
Perth Andover.
From Perth Andover. If you had to pick one player to be cloned from our Players of the Week to win Season 2, who would you pick and why? So you have Will Legier, you have Lonnie, you have Tyler Green, Mike Sir, and Caleb Schulten.
Oh, wait, to win like MVP?
To win the season. So a team of 5. This would be your clone. So they'd be playing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you pick Caleb Schulten, you'd be playing the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, and you got to win that chip for Season 2. Who you got?
Okay. Well, I'm going to go by the process of elimination here a little bit. And Michael Sir, I love you a lot, but I don't know if you're going to be out rebounding some of these guys.
You don't got Mike Sir down at the post. I've seen his post game.
I love Mike Sir, one of my favorite teammates ever, truly. But I just don't know if we can win.
I mean, the points per game by Mike Sir would be incredible, but the defense would be.
The ball would be just flying. The ball would be just flying around. he holds up defensively against
Big
a ton of
guards.
guys
It'd
in the
be
court,
tough
but
against a big boy.
I just think the size is an issue. So I mean, and in a similar vein, probably Caleb too. Caleb's a little bit bigger than Mike, but I think just as a full team, it's got to be Will Legier. And this is such a cop out because he won Player of the Week. But when I used to watch Reds games religiously, Will is just like he would do whatever Coach Baker asked of him. He would guard up. He would guard 4s and 5s in AUS when there were guys who were like 5, 6, 7 inches taller than him. He would take on the number one guard as a defender. He also offensively is clearly gifted. I think it's Will Legier, and that's a cop-out answer. I'm sorry, but that's who I'm going to take.
I think he's the most versatile player out of all of them, like through the 1
Yeah.
through 5, if you had to slot somebody in. But not always is it just because they can slot the 1 through 5 makes them the player that would win it all. I
Yeah.
mean, if we're just talking here, 5 Lonnies would be incredibly difficult to stop. I mean,
That'd be unbelievable.
the guy has a great passing ability, he crashes the boards, he can shoot the 3, he can run the ball. Like, yeah, he's a little slower than your average point guard, but having 5 of them, I don't know, man.
Could you imagine?
Talani,
five lines,
Talani.
those long arms, right?
That's what I mean. Like,
if you were in the U.S. playing high school basketball with no shot clock, you would just hold the ball just above everybody's head. You would get a couple point lead, and then you would just hold the ball, and it's just okay. This is the game. Like that's it. Sorry.
I think too, you got to think of like crashing boards. Like Will Legier's got to be, he's got to hit the bucket because like you got three Lonnies crashing. Like I don't think you're getting any second chance points. Yeah, I'm going Lonnie. I'm going big boy ball. I think Lonnie can pull it out. But let us know what you guys think. Send us your comments below. Till next time.
Great question, Luke. Great question.
Thank you. You too, Pete.